Okay. Is my screen visible? Can you please confirm?
Yes.
Yes, Ashmit.
Hi everyone. Thank you all for joining today. Today we are here to discuss about what UiPath Cloud Masters is and what exactly is Google Cloud Edition. And today joining me is Syed Pasha. He's UiPath MVP and basically he needs no introduction, but just a little bit about him. He's a community leader. He runs a group known as Automation Squad, and he acts as a lead in Roboyo. And I will just ask you, Sayed sir, to give a little bit, talk a little bit about him, and then we will go ahead with our session.
Hey guys, Smith, thank you. Yes, this is Syed. As Smith has already told about, we plan to start something around this new initiative where we give you a chance every week to explore the best things around your integration skills, your skills to bring things together with UiPath. We have some of the cloud initiatives or the cloud platforms mentioned, but it is endless. You guys can keep giving us, whatever the best thing and the best use case, the best integration, and the solution would be monitored, and solution would be created by some of the jury member and would be awarded every week. And most of the rest of the information would be shared by Smith now.
Thank you. So guys, with that, let's get started. So today's agenda is to answer the question, what is UiPath Cloud Masters Challenge? What is the judging criteria of this particular challenge? Then we will discuss about what is this week's challenge and the demo. So what is Cloud Masters? Cloud Masters is nothing but it is a MVP initiative, specifically, me and Syed Pasha with this particular initiative, so that we can help people developing a solution using different types of cloud providers. So if you see in the market today, essentially all of us are aware about cloud services. We know what they are, and on a very high level we know what they do. But the thing is that not all of us are having an hands-on experience with them. Maybe we have worked on a couple of them with in some of the projects, but we have never dived deep in we never dived in depth. Okay, we don't know what goes on within them, and we don't know what is we never had an incentive to deep dive in it. So this is kind of an incentive for you to deep dive into that particular concept of cloud, and we are basically rewarding you for doing that. So as you can see here, this particular challenge is targeted to increase the awareness of the services that are offered by the clouds. So talking a bit more about this is a 5-week challenge. Every week there will be a new cloud that you have to cover, and we will be starting with Google Cloud, then moving on to Amazon Web Services, Heroku, IBM Cloud, and then finally Azure. So each week we will be deciding one winner. So let's say today we start with the week of Google Cloud. So you till coming Friday, you have time to prepare for your challenge. You have time to create your workflow, to create your idea using Google Cloud Services. And essentially on Friday, you have to submit your solution. Once your solution is submitted, Syed Pasha and I will be going through those solutions, and we will be selecting one of the best solutions for that particular week, and the winner will be getting, some UiPath. Now, for every week, there will be one solution. So even if there will be one winner, so even if you don't win in 1 week, don't give up. Definitely, you will be having more chances. There is another surprise gift for someone who we see that is most active in the forum. Also, we see that has submitted the solution every week. So there is a surprise gift for him as well. Now, talking about Google Cloud. Well, Google Cloud was launched at April 2008, and most of us are aware about it. It provides services such as infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and serverless computing. And it also provides a couple of other services such as cloud engine and cloud storage, data analytics, machine learning service, API management, IoT, container management, and network. So you don't have to be, you don't have to worry about what all these are and whether we have to learn all of them in one week. The idea here is that most of this service is available in the API format. So what you have to do is you just have to come up with an idea as per the theme that we will be discussing today. And then you have to use any one of the service that is being provided by Google Cloud within UiPath, either by using the API or either by using the package itself. Yes, most of the services, most of the Google Cloud, most of the cloud services that we have chosen are already having a package built within UiPath. And most of the capabilities you can already use within the UiPath just with the help of some client secret or client tool. So we will be showing that in the demo as well. But if you want to use a particular service that is currently not covered in that package, you can use the API calling mechanism as well. What will be the judging criteria? So judging criteria is pretty simple. We will see your idea. Idea is most important. We are having four different, you can say, we are having four different themes that you can choose. You can choose any one of the theme, or you can choose to target all four of them. And basically, what we are looking at is how innovative your idea is. We also will be focusing on code quality. So even if your code is not completed, the part of that code that you have done, we want to see that it is following all the best practices. And more information about it is also available in the forum. But essentially, we don't only want to see you doing proper variable naming and argument naming and commenting and everything. We also want to see if this particular idea can use RE framework, it should be using RE framework. If this particular idea requires some additional kind of coding or some additional modification in RE framework, or maybe usage of assets and everything, storage buckets, assets, you should be using that. So maybe you focus on that part along with usage of the cloud. Now you can also it's your choice what you want, how you want to integrate the cloud service within RPA. So you can use the API, or you can also use the packages as well. Also, talking about the code quality, we would love to see if you can create some reusable components and maybe publish them on the marketplace. That will be really good. And we would also be requiring a video recording of the solution. We are not placing any time limit, but obviously the smaller the video and more the concise the video, the better it is. So make sure that you explain your idea as clearly as possible and you demo as clearly as possible within the video itself. So that we don't have to go put a lot of effort in, in analyzing the idea with the help of your code. We will be using the code primarily to see the code quality and how you have utilized the cloud service. Now, let's see a very basic demo project, like how you can utilize Google Cloud within UiPath. So let me just go ahead here. And the scenario that I will be automating, just delete this. Okay, so this is a data set that I have pulled from Kaggle from here. And this is essentially a data set that allows you to perform sentiment analysis on McDonald's review. So you can see that here we are having a column which tells you what is the review type. Currently it is blank. The idea here is that your ML model should be able to do proper sentiment analysis and give us a result here, like whether it was negative, positive, great, or very negative. Now, this is the review that you have to target. Like, for example, your task is to target this review point. So how will you code within UiPath in such a way that this entire thing is handled as a background automation part? You don't have to actually do UI automation to download this Excel first, and then essentially go ahead and utilize the AI center. Yes, we will be using we will be utilizing AI center capabilities here. But again, like I said, it's upon you that whether you want to use the sentiment analysis capability of AI center or the sentiment analysis capabilities of Google Cloud. It's upon you. I will be showing you how to use Google Cloud fetch data from a Google Sheet. Okay, without the need of actually downloading it. So let's dive into it. So first step that you have to do, you actually need to create an account on Google Cloud or cloud.google.com, which is, I think, a pretty obvious step. So once you are done with the account, you get 1 year free trial. Along with that, you also get some credits. I think it's somewhere around $50. Now, once you are done with that, go to console. And here you will be, greeted with such a screen. Now, if you have not already created a project, as you can see, I've already created a couple of projects. If you have not already created a project, I will urge you to create one. And you can see that in order to create a project, all you have to do is you will be seeing such a drop down here. Right now, you can see a drop down, but in normal cases, you will be seeing a plus icon. So hit on this particular thing and click on new project. So you will be there in the new project. Once you are in your, your project of choosing, then search for which service essentially you want to integrate. So I want to integrate Google Sheets. So I will search for Sheets. And you can see that I have Google Sheets API here. I will choose this. Guys, request you to please mute your mic. Okay, thank you. And now see, once you enable this, once you are here on this particular sheet, since you have created a new project, this particular service won't be active for you. Okay, so you have to actually add it to your project. And in order to do that, here we will be having a button of add to project. Click there and then click on manage. Now this particular service is available within your project. Once this dashboard is loaded, what you have to actually do is you can see that the options on the left hand side change as per the type of account you are having. Then you have to essentially go ahead, go to credentials, and within the credential, you have to actually create a new credential. Now it is upon you. You can either choose OAuth 2.0 client ID, or you can choose a service account. So let's create a new credential here. I will choose OAuth client ID. And I will choose the type as desktop app. And I will just name it as anything, UiPath desktop. Okay, once it is done, you will be greeted with a screen of such sort. What you have to do in here is you have to actually copy these two items and write it in your notepad, okay, because you will be needing it afterwards. So I will be leaving this particular thing as is, and I will be showing you a sample project that I have already prepared. So in order to firstly start working on this particular project, what you actually need to do is you actually need to download a couple of, you can say, packages. And the very first package that you have to download is G Suite package. Like I told you, you can utilize the G Suite, capabilities with the help of APIs or with the help of packages. So this is one of the package that is officially provided by UiPath in order to, you can say, in order to essentially help you in integrating RPA bot with Google Cloud. So once you have downloaded it, also download Web API and ML services package, because in our project, we want to do sentiment analysis and we want to use the sentiment analysis out of the box package provided by UiPath in AI Center. So you have to use it. Now, coming here, you can notice that we have provided client ID, client secret, and secure client secret. Client secret and secure client secret are same. Just for the testing purpose, actually, I provided them both, but one of them is available in string format and another one is available in secure string format. You can see both of them are nearly same. So client ID and client secret you can get from here. Okay, client ID and client secret, and you are mostly done. So your G Suite scope is now set. Next thing that you have to actually do is you have to actually read that particular range. Read the range from the Excel or from the Google Sheets that we just saw. Okay, so in order to do that, what you actually need to do is you have to actually go back to the your Google Sheet, and here you will be seeing an ID here. So if you carefully see this URL, let me copy this and open it in a notepad. Okay, so if you see this carefully, you can notice that. See if I can zoom in a bit more. So you can see that this particular URL, and I would urge you to create a couple of sheets to notice this effect. URL till here is static. It is telling that which service you are using in Google Docs, because in Google Docs you're having multiple services such as Word. You're having a Google Doc service. You are also having another service that allows you to prepare presentations, and this service which allows you to deal with spreadsheets. So this is just telling us that we are dealing with spreadsheets. Now, this is the ID that is most important to, that is most relevant to us. And then finally, it is telling this particular part of the URL is telling us that we are in edit mode. So we will copy this particular part of the URL, which is the ID part, and then we will come back here and paste it here. Okay, in the spreadsheet ID. Definitely a better way of doing it is going to be creating a variable and then using that variable everywhere. But just for the demo purpose, we have declared it here. Then define the sheet name. In our case, the sheet name is sheet1 only, and our output is in dt underscore info. So all the data that is available in the read range sheet, in this particular sheet one is going to be saved in the input variable, which is dt underscore info. Now, since we have to do an analysis or sentiment analysis on each and every row, we have used for each row activity, and within this activity, we are firstly seeing whether this review was already done or not. If this particular review was already completed, we are skipping it. And if this review was not completed, how we are checking if this review was already done or not? We are simply checking if the review column for this particular row is blank or not. If it is blank, it means we can do some review on it. If it is not blank, then essentially we cannot do. Then essentially there is no need of processing. Now, coming to the next thing, which is MLs. So how do we essentially get to this particular part? It is fairly simple. All you have to do is you just need to go to your orchestrator, log in into your automation cloud account, and here go to AI set. Okay. So once this particular AI center, the AI center site gets loaded, once you are logged in into the automation hub, once you're automation into the once you're logged in into the automation cloud account, you have to load it, and then you have to navigate to ML packages. Within ML packages, you can see there is an out of the box package named as language and UiPath language analysis. So open this thing up. I'm sorry, this one. Use the language analysis package. So open this thing, and here you will be seeing sentiment analysis. Okay, this particular model is actually open sourced by Facebook Research, so it gives very accurate results. And once you have opened this thing, then what you have to do is you have to actually just hit on submit to essentially create a package here. Once you hit on submit, this particular package will be deployed, and you will be able to see it here in the you can say in your ML skill screen. Now, initially it will be in deployment mode, maybe for around 10 or 20 minutes, but afterwards it will be deployed and its status is going to change to available. So you have to wait till its status gets changed to available. Once it's available, then what you have to do is you have to go back here in your UiPath account, within your UiPath Studio, and in here you have to drag and drop a ML skill package, ML skill activity, which is available inside this particular package, which is UiPath ML services dot activities. You have to download this package first, and then you will be seeing an ML skill activity. Download this, hit on refresh. Within the dropdown, you will be seeing all the packages that you have actually deployed. And once this is done, then you can pass in the input here. So this particular model actually asks you for the input in the text format and returns the analysis in the JSON format. So I have provided the input in the text format, and the response I'm getting is in the JSON format. Now, I know that the response is in JSON format, so I can easily go ahead and deserialize it. And since I know that you definitely have to do some analysis, so I will be showing you how you can get to know whether there is some JSON array available inside a JSON output or not. But I did some analysis and I got to know that there is no JSON array available. So I can use deserialize JSON activity and just deserialize this particular response into a dictionary, and then finally update the proper cell within the Google Sheet. So let me just go ahead and debug this thing for you. I will add a breakpoint here and let's see how it is. Now, just one small thing, guys. Keep in mind that when you are running this particular code for the first time, as you can see, we got authenticated right away. It's quite possible that Google will ask you to authenticate yourself first by asking your credentials. Okay, if you are getting that particular notification, try or create a service account, because in service account you won't be getting that notification. Since I already authenticated myself before this particular demo, so it is not asking me for that authentication again, but you will be redirected to a browser for that kind of authentication, and it's really straightforward. Okay, so you can see that we read the data from the specific sheet. Let us see what is the output of this thing. So as you can see, we are saving the data in dt underscore input. So let's see how many number of rows we have. Okay, so we are having 20 rows here. Let's go back in the. So here, let's see how many rows we are having. As you can see, here, I think here as well, you can see we are having 20 rows. The first row is the header. So 21 means if you subtract the first row, it is 20 rows only. Okay, so we got all the data. Now, coming back here, we have to actually pass only one row data, one review at a time. So you can see that we used for each row for this particular thing. And then finally, we have to, after the analysis is done, we have to actually deserialize it. Before deserializing, let me show you how I determine that this is not an array. So see, if I go here, so if I just type response, actually this particular, if I just type response, you can see that the response is in string format. Along with that, you can see there is no repetition going on. So by repetition, I mean there is only one instance of sentiment and there is only one instance of confidence. It is not repeating. If it would have been repeating in different, you can say curly braces, then it would have been in the form of an array. But since it is not repeating, there is only one opening and one curly braces. It means that it is a normal JSON, you can say a normal JSON string, and you can simply deserialize it into any form you want. And in this case, we are deserializing it in your dictionary format. And if I deserialize it in dictionary format, so this is the output that I get. Let me just clear this thing out. Dictionary response. So you can see that now it is available in a dictionary format, and we can very easily utilize. So now let's see how the right cell is going. This is a right cell of spreadsheet. So all you have to do here is you just need to go ahead and define the spreadsheet ID, define the sheet in which you want to perform this particular action, and also define the cell. But now, as you can so notice, I have not defined the specific cell location. The column is defined, but I have to actually manipulate the row that I'm doing. So in order to do that, it is most of you must be aware about it, but still for some of you, what we can do is for each row, we can define a row index. So row index is going to be an index of which row we are currently processing. Once we start the processing, the initial row index will be 0. Okay, so you can think of it like the first row is having an index of 0. And by first row, I mean, once again, when I say first row, I actually mean this particular. Keep in mind, this is starting from row number 2. So first data has to be written from H2. Okay. So see, within here, the row index value, the row underscore index value is going to be 0. Okay. Now, what we have to actually do is we have to actually compensate for two things. The first thing is going to be header, and the second thing is going to be the programmatic issue of indexes starting from 0. So that's why we're here, if you see, we have actually done, just zoom in a bit, row count or row index plus 2. Okay. So now what will happen? Since row index is 0, 0 plus 2 is going to be 2, and it's going to become H2. So if I do a step into here, it's executed. And let's go back in our McDonald's sheet. You can see that it wrote the data properly in H2. So this is the reason why we added 2 in the row index. Firstly, to compensate for the header, because the header is the first row, but for us, the data is the first row in the data table. And the second thing, we have also compensated for the fact that in most of the programming languages, indexes start from 0. So we obviously have to add 1 for that as well. So we have to add 2. Okay, with that said, I will just remove the breakpoints here and I will just let it run. So if I go back here, you will be seeing that soon all the rows here will be populated. And one thing to note here is that it's relatively fast. So the result that you get with the help of the AI center, with the help of the AI center model is very, very fast. So essentially, this was an issue that I noticed earlier as a developer, that the response was a bit slow. But nowadays, the response is quite fast. The only delay that you are seeing here is because of the fact that it is taking some time for the package to actually communicate with Google Sheets. So you can say it's an API call delay. But apart from that, the communication in between AI Center and Studio or the bot is relatively fast. So you can see that the first couple of items were very negative, but now we probably are going in a good direction. It's negative. Let's see how it goes for the remaining rows. Probably 20 rows are a bit high for the developers. Let's just wait for this to get done. Oh, okay. So we got a first, you can say positive here. So this is a very positive. So you can see that we are getting, with the help of that AI center model, we are getting 4 levels of segregation in the sentiment. So it's very negative, negative, positive, positive, and very positive. So that's that. Now, having that said, let's focus on Google here, and let's understand a scenario where we are not having this particular, API, or we are not having this particular feature available. Now, if you're not having this particular feature available, what do you have to actually do? You have to actually go ahead and do a UI automation, which obviously all of us know is not, when compared to a background automation, API automation is always less preferred. Okay. But still, you have to go to file, download this in proper format, save it in your directory. After saving it in your directory, you have to make sure that it has downloaded completely, because it's not only that it has, because whenever you use Chrome for download it or any kind of browser, it downloads a temporary file first, and then it completes the download. Once the download is completed, then it gets reflected in the actual file. So you have to wait for that particular part to be completed, read the sheet, do the modifications, and then upload it back here, which is again going to be a very, you can say, tedious work to do. But with the help of the package provided by the UiPath and the services that are provided by Google, Google, you can actually go ahead and do this particular thing very, very quick. This particular workflow took only 5 minutes for me to build, because all we have to do is we just have to read a couple of data. We just have to pass some information here. No need of any, you can say, UI based activities. So I don't have to worry about timeouts, and I don't have to worry about what type of click I'm performing, what type of, you can say, get text I'm performing, what type of action, what type of get text activity I have to use. or anything else that are any other complexities that are involved in the UI based automation, I don't have to worry about. So that's why always prefer API automation. And if getting a chance, use a cloud provider in order to do any kind of analytics work, or maybe such kind of a work in which you have to get a data with the help of API. So that's it. Now, I agree that this is kind of a scenario that you might face, in your day-to-day life. But what this particular challenge what I expect and what we expect from you in this particular challenge is that you target the solutions that essentially is going to help larger group of. Okay, so let me just go ahead and go to the forum page of this particular challenge so that we can talk about a bit more. So as you can see, and obviously you have to be really active here. Okay, but whichever doubt you're having, whatever question you're having, if you're stuck somewhere, just post a question here, and we will definitely help you. We will, if workflow needs to be created, if you need some guidance in terms of how to establish a connection, how to essentially use a particular type of service, because it's not like your Google Cloud is only providing service for Google Sheets. Within UiPath only, if you just search for GSU, you can see that you can actually automate 5 different types of, or maybe 6 different types of, you can, 6 different types of services. So app script, calendar, docs, drive, Gmail, and Sheets. So technically this is very powerful, but Google Cloud goes beyond this. It actually allows you to automate, or it actually allows you to do a lot of things, ranging from your basic databases, data analytics, containers. If you're not aware about containers, I would urge every one of you to at least get familiar with what are the containers, what are the basics of containers. And you can also do some computing with the help of this if you actually want to train your own ML models. API management, Google Cloud is actually having a lot of APIs that we see in our day-to-day life and that we don't even realize are being used. So for example, when you open up your phone, you have to navigate somewhere. How that data is coming to your phone app, it is happening all because of API calls. So all this stuff you can learn and you can implement within your project. So now let's go ahead and see what the task is, or what is the task for you in Cloud Masters Google Cloud Edition. So in here, you are having 4 themes. Okay, first one is healthcare. Focus on creating a solution that can that can improve the kind of services or kind of, you can say, issues that people face in healthcare industry. Okay, try to do something that is not very that a lot of people are facing as of now, but it should not only be focused on what is happening right now. It should be focusing on a long term kind of impact. Okay, second thing, code management. So as you know that most of us have faced this particular issue, like the code is working on my machine and it is not working on other person's machine. And as an interesting fact, there is a site that actually gives you a certificate of works on my machine if you just prove to them that it is at least working on your machine. But so we want to remove this works on my machine. So what we want you to do is, if possible, just try to explore how you can deploy any kind of a code within Google Cloud and how you can utilize that particular service within RPA or within bot. So just to give you one example, there could be a scenario where you have designed a particular API. Now you can deploy that particular API on a local machine and just utilize it. But it's quite possible that all of the dependencies are not available in production. And there you are facing some issues. So it's not a good idea to actually deploy it on a normal machine. So you can actually deploy that code on cloud and then utilize. And since Google also provides hosting option, so you can actually go ahead and do something better there. So what we want you to do is demonstrate a proper solution in which you actually go ahead and deploy a proper, you can say, code. It could be an API code, it could be some kind of a hosting, it could be some kind of a website on the Google Cloud, and then basically use it within the UiPath bot to solve any particular. Okay. Next thing is going to be data management. Please zoom in a bit. So next thing is going to be data management. So, as all of us know, Google Cloud providers provides some services such as Cloud SQL and BigQuery. So these are two of the most popular tools that are available in the market today in order for processing the huge data. Okay, so basically your project could be focusing on this when you're having maybe let's say a terabyte of data, or maybe terabyte could be a bit higher, maybe a gigabyte of data available in a database, and you know that any other tool, if the that data is available within your local drive, that is going to be an issue. But if that data is available in Google Cloud, it is not an issue, and you can do the querying very fast. So we want you to build a particular solution that utilizes such services such as BigQuery, Cloud SQL, and many other database services that are there within the Google Cloud environment in order to solve the data processing issue. So basically, let's say you are within your UiPath, you know that I will give you a very basic example. Let's say you're doing some automation for a bank and they have provided you the data on a very slow database. So whenever you perform a query, since the data is quite huge, it takes around, let's say, 15 to 20 minutes just to get a response of a select query. To solve the problem by using BigQuery or Cloud SQL, show us how you will exactly populate the data there and trigger, or maybe you can say perform some kind of a stored procedure on the data that is stored in the Cloud SQL. Again, this is just one example. Your solution can go anywhere. Okay, so it's upon you. Finally, miscellaneous. This is open to all. This is open to any solution. It's upon you what you want to build, how you want to build it. As I told you, that we are more relying on the video that you are creating, so it should be concise and it should be explaining everything in a very clear fashion. But if you're able to do that, then you are actually having the freedom of creating any solution that you like, that solves a very unique problem or a problem that helps general public. So these are the four criteria that we have decided for you in which you can create any solution. Now, obviously, you are not bounded by anything under the miscellaneous category. So just try to create a solution around it. Try to maintain the code quality. Definitely, that's a very important factor to us. And try to submit the solution on the given date. So you can see that the solution submission date for this particular challenge, for the first week of the challenge, is 23rd of July. Okay, so try to submit this particular solution before that. Okay, so now obviously every other detail is provided here. And if you have any doubts, let me just share the links as well. If you have any doubts, here is the forum page. You can go ahead and ask your doubts here. We will be here to we are actually here to provide you the solution of any problem that you face. Okay, so just ask us any doubt, shoot any idea that you're having, discuss here, and definitely, if you are the most active person, you will be rewarded for that as well. Okay, so with that said, let me just see if I'm having anything else in the slide. I think no. So yes, we are done and we are open for questions. So you guys can unmute your mic one at a time. And if Sayed sir and Vibhor, you are having something to say, maybe you can also.
Yeah, there was some variety of questions on the chat. Uh, most of them are answered.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, hi Smith and hi Syed and hi Bibor. Actually, I wanted to ask it was answered, but still more clarification. Let's say just we have third party partners like cloud partners with UiPath, right? So we have Google, AWS, and many like Azure. So let's say I want to create my own space in the cloud, just to it runs on my machine scenario I'm talking about, and then I want to deploy. I may create that bot in my local machine wherever it is, but I want to deploy that package there or make the bot run in, let's say, for today's scenario, it is Google Cloud. So if I do, I like create an space like when we create in
ஏய்
Amazon, it is the
என்ன
EC2,
உடைச்சிட்ட
EC2 instance. So is it
அதுக்கு உடைப்பியா
charges? I mean, do the charges or is all the services are
Sridevi,
free?
I'm really sorry, but there is a lot of noise on your end. So you can just repeat your question. Like I got the point that you want to create some kind of you want to deploy a code on the Google
Cloud,
Cloud or
yes,
any other cloud service.
yes.
So
Like
is that your question? You want to
yes,
deploy? Yeah,
like let's say like
please.
we have production environment. Hello.
You were muted. Please
Yeah.
continue.
So let's say we like I want to create an environment to deploy my
Mhm.
bots there. So let's in cloud, if we say Google Cloud, so I want to create a space which will be dedicated for my like say organization or for my project, okay, and I want to run the bot in
Right,
that space, so it should not be like my that bot runs only in my machine scenario to avoid
right,
overcome that, right? So for doing
exactly.
that, the prerequisites apart from the .NET frameworks and internet security, like when I run a bot in a cloud, let's say today's scenario Google Cloud, so the services are free if I register create an account in Google Cloud.
See, all the services are not free. I will urge you to read through the documentation once. But what I can tell you is you get a credit of around $230. Okay.
Okay.
And the very first service that you will see in Google Cloud products, let me just share you this link, is Compute Engine. Okay.
Okay.
These are the virtual machines that Google allows you to use. And with around $230, you can actually get a virtual machine for around 1.5 months. Okay,
Okay.
so obviously one and a we this challenge will only last for and that is a dynamic cost. Okay, that the cost that I'm telling you is going
Pay
to
as
be
you go.
again. Okay, so you can just exactly it's pay as you. So you can essentially go ahead, use your credits, create a solution, and just stop using the machine once you know, or maybe delete that instance.
Okay.
Okay, so you
And
can use the compute engine for
okay.
this.
And when I create the compute engine and run a bot, like only running a bot, it will not charge, right? The services used for running a bot in the cloud, or can I get a cost estimate for that?
It will actually charge you. See, if you are even logging in. Okay.
Yes.
See, many
Yes.
people use this particular kind of a service so that for development or maybe for testing purpose. Okay.
Yes.
So if you are even running a code there, logging in means that you have started using it,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So technically you should will be charged, but like I told you,
Yes.
just read through the description once
Okay.
because see, ultimately you have to use your credit card in order to get a free trial.
Yes.
Okay. So, but obviously, but one thing that I can tell you for sure right now, if even if you provide your credit card details, you won't be charged until and unless you say yes, go ahead. Okay,
Okay.
so it will ask you for your consent, and then it is. So I will say, just go crazy with it and just use as much services as you can.
Okay. Yes. Thanks. Thanks, Ishmit. And Ishmit, any links which you could share to how to deploy a robot in a cloud? I mean, in Google Cloud, any links which will be helpful for us to proceed?
Sure. See, we will be posting such details in forum. So
Okay.
just do one thing so that we can also see, we can also reply to your comment properly. Just post this particular question in the forum. Okay, this is the forum link.
Okay.
Just post the questions there, and we will be reverting it.
Thanks a lot. Thanks.
Yeah, seems like all good. Guys, please spread this word to your friends, whoever is a cloud enthusiast or an UiPath enthusiast. Let them make the solutions.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
Ishmit, you have already covered what is expected and everything, right?
Yes.
Yes.
And
Just
so
one
what we will
question.
do, we will also be for the winners or probably top 2 or 3, whatever based on the solution. We will also share it on the same thread so that others can learn from those users.
Actually, that's great. We will be sharing
And,
all the details to you. So just go ahead and implement. Start implementing.
and,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
you've also showed where to submit the solution or to what all needs to be done while submission. Can you go to main page,
Yes. Just one.
main event page,
Yes.
which is say join, go to whoever, yeah, on this page. So there's a one link. Okay, so just a minute. I think I had this.
I think there was a link here, right, for submission.
Well, let's see. I think I missed that adding. No, not here. Let me add this just a minute. Good that you captured.
Okay, here it is. So see, if you will go to forum, here is the solution. So you just need to fill this particular, you just need to fill this particular form. Okay, you need to provide your name, your credentials and everything. And for which cloud provider are you providing this solution for? Then your project name, which problem are you solving with this particular project? And then finally, you have to also provide us the links of GitHub of your repository. So you can, it's upon you. You can upload the code on GitHub or you can upload the code on Google Drive or any other, cloud hosting solution, as long as it is accessible to public. Obviously, we will be only the internal people will be accessing this particular solution, but sometimes we have noticed the solution is not accessible to you. So make sure that the solution, if you're creating a repository, the repository should be public. If you are creating a Google Drive folder, the folder should be accessible by everyone, read and write access. Okay, and after this, you also need to provide a link to your solution. Could be a YouTube video link. It could be a link that is uploaded in Google Drive anywhere. Okay, it's upon you. But again, like I said, it should be accessible. And finally, when accept and just submit. So it's a pretty straightforward form that you have to fill.
Ishmit, just one small question, like will the UI-based actions over the cloud also be considered for judging criteria?
Definitely they will be considered. But like I said, see, most of the functions that you have to perform on Google Cloud or any type of cloud service, they are having an alternate of using some kind of an API or some kind of other mechanism in which you don't essentially have to use the UI-based automation.
Yeah.
Having that said,
Okay.
if you do any UI automation as well, that will definitely be considered as long as UiPath and that cloud service are involved in your project.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
That's cool. I think there are no more questions.
What are the dates you can show by when everyone needs to submit it?
Yep, so it seems like fine, Usman.
Sunday, right? Before the next session, they can submit the solution, right?
Hello.
Yeah, I think we're good. There are no more questions.
Yeah, I think we are good. Right.
Perfect. Thanks for joining us. Thank you, Ishmael.